Hey, second grade, Miss Shannon here, back with our story, Mr. Putter and Tabby See the Stars. I hope you enjoyed listening to this story yesterday. Today we are going to be thinking about the sequence of this story. And remember that sequence is when you tell the order of events in a story in order. We use the words first, next, then, and last to tell the order of what happens. Remember that this is the graphic organizer we will be using to help our comprehension skill this week. And right now, I would like you to find your composition notebook, turn to the next clean, fresh page, and you are going to organize your paper like this. You will put the date in the upper right corner. Today is 1/15/2021 or January 15th. You will make the title sequence. Sequence is our comprehension skill this week. And underneath, you can write the title of this book, Mr. Putter and Tabby. After you have the title, you will then draw 4 boxes and label each of them with the words first, next, then, and last. Make sure you've got enough room in each box for about a sentence or two for each box. Go ahead and press pause if you need to, and then press play when you're ready to move on and begin your work. I'm not going to reread the whole story, as you can look in our Thursday folder if you want to hear the story. But we are going to review by looking at the pictures to help jog our memory and remind ourselves about what happened in the story. In Chapter 1, we learn that Mr. Putter and Tabby love to sleep, and they could sleep just about anywhere. They could sleep on a chair, on a swing, in their bed, even in the laundry room, we read. In Chapter 2, we read that Mr. Putter and Tabby went over to Miss Teaberry's house, and they were eating jelly rolls. And Mr. Putter was having such a great time that he lost track of how many jelly rolls he had eaten. Oh man, and I think we learned that his stomach started to grumble. So I want us to stop and think about what happened first in the story. Now that we've read through the first few pages, can we stop and think about what happened first? What is the first big event that happens? Well, we learned that Mr. Putter could not sleep. We see him up here in the corner in his pajamas, holding his stomach. He could not sleep because his stomach hurt so much from eating all these jelly rolls that we see him eating in the lower picture. So if I'm going to put that into a sentence for my sequence, I could write, Mr. Putter could not sleep because his stomach was upset from too many jelly rolls. That is the event that happened first in the story. Press pause if you need to while you're writing this down, and then press play when you're ready to move on. As we continue through the story, we see that Mr. Putter's stomach is still grumbling, and he's thinking, what to do, what to do. Mr. Putter looked at Tabby, and then he got an idea. Second graders, do you remember what his idea was? That's right. Let's go for a walk, Mr. Putter said. So they put on their coats, and they went for a walk. And while they were on this walk, they looked up at the sky. I remember our essential question is, what can we see in the sky? Well, Mr. Putter and Tabby were looking at the sky. What did they see? Yes, they saw the moon, they They saw stars. It was a beautiful night. So now I can think about the second event in the story. First, Mr. Putter could not sleep because his stomach was upset from the jelly rolls. What happened next is, that's right, they went outside for a walk and looked at the stars. So what happened next was Mr. Putter and Tabby go on a walk and look at the stars. You may press pause and then press play again when you're ready to continue. They continue on their walk, still looking at the sky. They look in windows and see other cats inside the window. And when they finally circle back to their house, they see someone. Who do they see, second graders? Mrs. T-Berry. Mrs. T-Berry and her dog Zeke were standing outside on the front lawn. Mr. Putter said that his stomach was grumbling too much, and they had a seat and started to talk. They told stories and made each other laugh. All right, second graders, it's time to stop and think. What happens next in our story? We remember that we just said they went on a walk and looked at the sky. What happened when they returned from their walk? You got it. They ran into Mrs. T-Berry and talked and shared stories. So I wrote, then they returned from their walk and find Miss T-Berry and Zeke outside. They tell stories. All right. We remembered that the beginning of the story was all about how Mr. Putter and Tabby could sleep anywhere, but he wasn't able to sleep because of his grumbling stomach. And here we are at the end of the story. Did Mr. Putter finally get to sleep? What do you see on the pictures? That's right, I see Mr. Putter with his head on the pillow and his cat snuggled up next to him. He was finally able to sleep. And after that day, he still goes back to visit Mrs. T-Berry. So for this last step, I am not going to write down a sentence. I want you to come up with your own sentence, thinking about what we just talked about that happened at the end of the story. You will fill in the final step of the story, asking yourself the question, did Mr. Putter ever go to sleep? Did he finally go to sleep? Think about how you want to say the final step in the story and enter that in on the last rectangle on your page. Double check your work for capital letters to start each sentence and periods to end your sentences. I look forward to seeing what you came up with. Thanks for working with me, second graders.